When a person is frightened, adrenaline is released by the adrenal glands. What are the effects of adrenaline? Breathing rate, heartbeat rate increased 51. What happens when the body temperature rises above normal? Blood vessels in the surface of skin, sweat production. Dilate increases. 52. Which set of conditions would make the percentage of water in urine decrease the most? Conditions: temperature of the surroundings, amount of activity. High 53. During a long-distance race, the body temperature of an athlete begins to rise. Which changes occur to help return the body temperature to normal? Sweating, blood vessels in the skin. Increases dilate 54. Which responses occur when a person is too hot? Sweat produce shivering, blood vessels supplying skin capillaries. Yes, no dilated 55. At night a man looks at the stars and then begins to read the map using a bright lamp. How do the shape of his lenses and the size of his pupils change? Lenses, pupils. Thinner, larger 56. What are the levels of organization of the retina and of the eye? Retina, eye tissue organ 57. What would by the pupil size and the lens shape of a person reading a mobile phone text message in a brightly lit room? Pupil size, small, and lens shape, fat. IGCSE and O-Level Smart Biology M. Rashid Chatha 030046100457. 58. Which responses are shown by the shoot of a plant? Geotropism, phototropism. Plus key, plus equals grows towards the stimulus, equals grows away from the stimulus 59. What would be the effects of vasodilation and sweating on the body temperature and on the amount of moisture on the surface of the skin? Body temperature, moisture on skin surface decreased, increased 60. How does the skin react when the body becomes very warm? Blood vessels, sweat production, dilate increases 61. How many different kinds of call receptors and rod receptors there in the human retina? Types of cone receptor, types of rod receptor 3162. The fovea of the eye has 3 kinds of cones absorbing light of different colors. Which row is correct? Type of cone: stimulated, red sensitive, blue sensitive, green sensitive, color seen. Yes, white. 63. A person eats a large bowl or rice. What happens to amounts of insulin, glucagon, and glycogen in his body? Insulin, glucagon, glycogen increases, decreases, increases 64. Which row shows the effects of increased adrenaline release? Breathing rate, pulse rate, pupil increases, increases, widens 65. What are effects of insulin and glucagon on the concentration of blood glucose? Effect of insulin on blood glucose concentration, effect of glucagon on blood glucose concentration decreases, increases 66. Which responses occur in the iris of the eye when a person walks from dimly lit area into a brightly lit area? Circular muscle, radial muscle. Contract, relax 67. When the blood glucose concentration is low, which hormone is released and which organ releases it? Hormone, organ, glucagon, pancreas 68. Which row function of the rod cells? Have greater sensitivity to light, give color vision X. IGCSE and O-Level Smart Biology M. Rashid Chatha 030046100457. 69. Which description of how the pupil of the eye gets smaller is correct? Circular muscles, radial muscles. Contract, relax 70. Which row describes accommodation when viewing a near object? Ciliary muscles, suspensory ligaments, lens shape. Contracted, slackened, more spherical. 71. A person's kidney removes waste from the blood and help to keep the composition of the blood constant. Which word describes these functions? Homeostasis 72. Which 2 processes are directly controlled by negative feedback? Maintenance of constant body temperature and regulation of blood glucose concentration 73. What happens to the arterioles near the surface of the skin when the body temperature rises? They dilate and become wider. 74. Which of these 4 mechanisms that lower the body temperature is the slowest to occur? Thinning subcutaneous fat layer 75. The body can regulate both its temperature and the amount of water in its cells. What are these processes? Homeostasis 76. Which response to a drop in body temperature does not involve muscle contraction? Reduced sweating 77. A person walks from a warm room into a cold one. Which of these reactions occurs first? Cold receptors in the skin are stimulated. 78. Which structures are all involved in controlling human body temperature? Blood vessels near the skin surface, the hypothalamus and skeletal muscles. 79. What helps heat retention in the human body? Fat in and under the skin 80. What happens when the body temperature of a human is controlled? Body temperature is made more similar to ideal body temperature. 81. Which process is responsible for maintaining a person's body temperature when they are too cold? Homeostasis 82. What is meant by negative feedback? A change away from a set point causes a change back towards the set point. 83. What is a sign of diabetes mellitus? Glucose in the urine 84. What is an effect of insulin? Increased synthesis of glycogen 85. What decreases as a result of adrenaline secretion? Digestive activity 86. Which part of the central nervous system controls the body's water balance? Hypothalamus 87. Which of these is a sign of diabetes mellitus? Raised blood glucose level 88. Which process is not a result of negative feedback? A decrease in the surrounding temperature leads to a decrease in respiration rate. 89. Which of these correct statements describes control by negative feedback? When blood pressure is high, nerve impulses from the brain cause the blood vessels to dilate and blood pressure. 90. What helps heat retention in the human body? Fat in and under the skin 91. Which changes will occur when a person walks from a very cold room into a hot room? Sweating increases and skin blood vessels dilate. 92. Which structure in the brain registers changes in the blood concentration? Hypothalamus 93. Which part of the brain controls body temperature? Hypothalamus 94. What is the role of motor neurons in reflex action? Carrying nerve pulses from the central nervous system to an effector. 95. Opticians sometimes place drops of a chemical in a patient's eye to keep the pupil wide open. Which muscles contract when this chemical is used? Radial iris muscles 96. Which hormone causes an increase in blood glucose concentration? Adrenaline. IGCSE and O-Level Smart Biology M. Rashid Chatha 030046104457. 97. In what way is the pupil reflex different from some other reflexes? The response occurs quickly. 98. A motor neuron transmits impulses from spinal cord to muscle 99. Why is glucose found in the urine of diabetics? No enough glucose in the blood is converted to glycogen. 100. A patient complains to the doctor of unexplained weight loss, severe thirst and frequent need of urination. A test shows high levels of glucose in the urine. Which condition does the doctor diagnose? Diabetes 101. A man suffers a head injury and his cerebellum is damaged. What is the result of this? Poor coordination of movement 102. Where are receptors found? At one end of sensory neurons 103. Which changes take place in the iris of the eye when a person moves quickly from darkness into bright light? Circular of the iris, contract, radial of the iris, relax and diameter of the pupil, decreases 104. What are the cause, signs and symptoms and treatment for diabetes mellitus? Cause: damaged pancreas cells. Signs and symptoms: sugar in urine and treatment, insulin. Injections 105. The changes focus from looking at a wristwatch to looking at an aeroplane flying overhead. Which changes occur inside the eye? Shape of lens, thinner, suspensory ligament, tight and ciliary muscles, relax 106. Which row shows what causes adrenaline or insulin to be released, an effect of this hormone on blood glucose concentration. Hormone, adrenaline, when released into blood, when anxious, an effect on blood glucose concentration, increases 107. A person is reading a book in dim light. Which row shows the state of the eye muscles? Ciliary muscles, relaxed, iris circular muscles, relaxed, and iris radial muscles, contracted 108. What does the hypothalamus control? Body temperature 109. Insulin is a hormone, synthesized in the pancreas and is distributed around the body by the blood. What describes its rate of secretion and its concentration in the blood? Rate of secretion, varied, and concentration in the blood, constant. 110. Which chemical produced by the body alters the activity of a target organ and is destroyed? By the liver? Hormone 111. Which bones form a joint at the shoulder? Humerus and scapula 112. How do biceps and triceps muscles work to straighten arm? Biceps contracts, biceps relaxes 113. What happens when the arm is straightened at the elbow? The triceps pulls on the ulna. 114. Which statement about elbow joint is true? If the biceps contracts, the triceps must relax. 115. Which structure does not have its muscles arranged antagonistically? Heart ventricle 116. Which statement about the ulna is correct? It has a projection to which an extensor muscle is attached. 117. How many planes of movement are possible at elbow and shoulder? Elbow, 1, and shoulder, 3. 118. What part is played by sweat glands during the process of sweating? Effector 119. Which is the light-sensitive part of the eye? Retina 120. What is meant by the term phototropism? Directional growth in response to light 121. What is the result of the release of adrenaline? Increased blood glucose concentration and increased pulse rate. 122. How many different kinds of cone receptor and rod receptor are there in the human retina? 3 types of cone receptors and 1 type of rod receptor. 123. Which row shows the effects of increased adrenaline release? Increased breathing rate, increased pulse rate, and widened pupil. 124. How does the skin react when the body becomes cold? Arterioles supplying the skin surface constrict and sweat production decreases. IGCSE and O-Level Smart Biology M. Rashid Chatter 030046100457. 25. What is a disadvantage of asexual reproduction when a new crop disease appears on a farm? Asexual reproduction does not lead to genetic variation in offspring. 126. Compared to the hormonal system, the responses of the nervous system are faster and of shorter duration. 127. What does the central nervous system consist of? Brain and spinal cord. Only 128. What is a response to a low concentration of glucose in the blood? Glucagon will cause the body to convert glycogen into glycogen. 129. In a mammal, body temperature is regulated by negative feedback. As a result of negative feedback, what happens in the mammal's body as the temperature of the external environment decreases? Vasoconstriction. 130. Which statement about light receptor in the retina of a normal human eye is correct? There are 3 types of cone. 131. The neurons at synapses contain vesicles. Which type of substance is found inside the vesicles? Neurotransmitter. 132. Which statement about involuntary responses is correct? They always result in the same response to the same results. 133. Which process transmits an impulse across a synapse? 134. The shoot of a potted plant is growing towards light. Which statement about the role of auxin in phototropism is correct? Auxin will move to the dark side of the shoot and cause cells to elongate. 135. Which row shows the state of the ciliary muscles and suspensory ligaments when the eye is focusing on a near object? Ciliary muscles, contracted, and sensory ligaments, slack 136. In a plant shoot, where is auxin make and what is its effect? Made in shoot tip and promote cell elongation 137. The liver and the pancreas work together to control the concentration of glucose in the blood. Which statement is correct? The pancreas responds to a fall in blood glucose by increasing the release of the hormone glucagon. 138. Which row shows the actions needed for the eye to focus on a distant object?